Hi, welcome to Talking and Reading from Japan. I'm your host, Hidemi Woods. On this show, I read part of the books I wrote and talk about it or anything that I just feel like talking to you. I hope you enjoy it with me. Today, I'll read one of my books that are all memoirs. All books I wrote were memoirs, and so every single episode is exactly what happened to me, what I experienced actually. So, I hope you enjoy listening to my odd, sometimes weird experiences. Today, I'm gonna read one of the books titled The Girl in Kyoto. It looks like this. This is also a memoir, and that in which I wrote about my childhood that I spent in Kyoto, Japan. Today's episode I will read is titled The Print Shop. It's about a small print shop that existed right back of our family's house. The print shop. My grandfather's sister lived in a small house right at the back of our family's house a long time ago. Until I was 5 or 6 years old, I had visited her house alone frequently. The main reason I spent a lot of time there was that my strict grandparents took care of me instead of my busy parents, and I couldn't feel comfortable with them for tension in my house. But there was another reason. Half of our small house was a print shop. It was a tiny typography place run by her husband, which mostly printed flyers for neighbors. I liked to watch the shop so much. The printing machine was running only occasionally, but looking at innumerable wooden types arranged neatly in the shelves was interesting enough for me. I used to spend hours sitting toward the shelves and just gazing the wooden types. If it was my lucky day, her daughter was home and cooked me fried rice. Back then, I had been troubled with auto-intoxication. I spent so much time in her house that my mother instantly imputed the cause to printing ink when I was diagnosed at the doctor's office. In the following 10 years, both my grandfather's sister and her husband have passed away. Her children have left home, and the house was demolished. The print shop was gone. A new house was built for sale, and a young couple moved in. The husband was an office worker, but soon he quit his job. He started his own business at his home, and that was a print shop. The couple was newcomers to our neighborhood and had no way to know that there had been also a print shop on the side of their house. The site must be predestined to be a print shop. That was today's episode. It's another mysterious experience of mine that more often than not tend to happen to me for some reason. Inexplicable things tend to happen to me because I don't know why. I have no idea why those things happen to me quite often. And this episode is one of them. My grandparents raised me instead of my parents, but they were extremely strict, and so I was uncomfortable with them all the time. I constantly had been searching for the way to get out of my house where I felt too much tension because of my grandparents. So one of the refugee places was that house where the print shop existed. That house belonged to my grandfather's sister. We called her Abba-san because my grandfather called her Abba, not the band. No relation with the band ABBA. It's just my grandfather's habit to call her ABBA. And all the family members of ours called her Abba-san. And her husband started the print shop by using half of her house. When Abba-san got married with her husband, my great-grandfather built the house on the site that used to belong to our family. And that was right at the back of our family's house. And my Abba-san's husband started the business. And it was not a big home business. It's just a small print shop place. And but I really like to go there. I liked just watching the shop itself. Sometimes the printing was actually working. The Abba-san's husband was working on a printing machine, which was extremely exciting to see for me, because it was like it's almost it looked like a magic machine, because the with the constant beautiful rhythm, the printed paper was coming out of the machine, and those process was just beautiful to me, and I was so content just to gaze at all those type of graphical small font wooden gadgets. I never touched them. I was just gazing them. So it was not a play toy for me. It's just it's like more like museum, more like pictures, or more like art for me. Those small wooden types were so beautiful, and it's not that those are not that gorgeous things. They are all old, tattered wooden small blocks, but to me they were so beautiful for some reason. And I was gazing. I spent many hours just looking at them, gazing at them. And sometimes Abasan's daughter cooked me fried rice. That was never served in my house, because cooking was my grandmother's job, and her cooking was for her menus that she cooked was for all the people, and not what small children liked. So was fried rice was such a special treat for me, and so fun was added at Addison's house. And I liked to be alone when I was a child. I didn't have a friend. I didn't like to talk to others. I just wanted to be silent and just to be alone. But my sister was born, and sometimes my grandmother asked me to look after her, and I didn't like it. I didn't like to see a baby, so I needed to run away from not only from my grandparents but also my baby sister. And one of the refugee places was Abson's house. And was I had a lot of fun there. But I was diagnosed as auto intoxication at the doctor's place, and my mother was with no evidence. She concluded the cause was printing ink because I spent so much time there at the print shop. So my mother blamed the print shop for my illness. But the doctor explained to her later that was that illness had nothing to do with printing ink or whatsoever. It was a mental thing. So, but my mother was adamant that the cause was printing ink. She didn't listen to the doctor. Anyway, when I saw the house was demolished when Abasan passed away. Before her husband had already passed away, and her children that meant my father's cousins got married and left home. So Abasan had been living there alone a few years. And eventually she also passed away, and the house was demolished. And there, because the Abasan's family sold the house and the land, and so the developer bought the place and built a new house. And then strangers moved in. A newly married couple from somewhere appeared, moved into the house in my neighborhood. My neighborhood was an old place, very traditional area of an old city like Kyoto. So everybody in my neighborhood was known to each other. Actually, everybody around, every man and everyone around my house was my father's old friend, and so they had known each other since their childhood. So everybody knew each other, and then the new strangers joined our neighborhood. And we learned that the husband was working at the office. And then less than a year, he quit his job and started his own business inside the house. And that was a print shop. Mysterious, isn't it? You can imagine how how surprised and dumbfounded our family was to see the sign posted in front of the house said newly open print shop. Our family repeated the word why for 1,000 times because it was so weird and odd and strange because it couldn't be explained why he chose the print shop among all other business opportunities. And so we just so astounded and was such a mystery for all of us when it happened. And his business was quite going well. He continued as far as I know, when I left home. When I left home for music to Tokyo when I was 21, he was still working as a print shop owner there. So the new house was also the print shop, and was one of the mysteries I still couldn't figure out why the same business was growing on the exact same site. I guess, I don't know, but I guess some spirit might exist there or everywhere. Maybe spirit of a location or a place or a site or earth, and that spirit wants to be something. And in this episode's case, it was a print shop. And earth or the site calls for a print shop because it wants to be that specific place. I can't satisfactory conclusion other than that. I can't find anything that can explain why it happened like that. So, in my guess, that was because of the spirit of the place, and it became a print shop again, I guess. mysterious things tend to happen to me, and especially when I was a child, weird things and difficult things to explain are ban are numerous and around me, and I still think why those things often happen to me. I wonder whether I am blessed or cursed or both or neither. Well, let's wrap it up here and let's talk again. Let's talk again something about nothing next time. Thanks for watching and listening. This podcast, Talking and Reading from Japan, is available everywhere you get your podcasts. So I'd greatly appreciate if you follow the show and come back here regularly again, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon. I'm Hidemi Woods. Thanks for watching and listening again. I hope you join me again soon. I'm Hidemi Woods. Until next time, take care and be well.